welcome to a video that I have thought about doing for quite a long time. The only reason I actually haven't done this yet is because I'm a little bit worried that I'm not going to remember things because it now has been so long. So I created 2 videos like this in the time that I've been on YouTube. One I think was like very early on of starting YouTube, literally like 8 years ago, maybe 7 years ago I made it. And then the other one I did 5 years ago. So it has been a long time since I have done this and a lot has happened. And I wanted to do this now 5 years on from the last one because so much has happened and so much has changed, and I've been through some very big life changes and just different things that I'm now doing with fitness. And I just thought I have so much that I've learned that I would love to share it with you and share my story from start to finish. It's literally been, so the first time I stepped in a gym was 2013, so over 11 years ago. I didn't stick to fitness at that point, but yeah, I just thought we could talk from the start, all the different eras that we've been through, and just if anybody is sort of struggling with getting into fitness or in a little bit of a rut in their fitness journey, maybe this and different parts of this might help you, and just, I don't know, I hope that it'll just, you know, give you something in some way. So that is hopefully the plan. Other thing is, my baby is currently asleep in the room next door, and I now have time limits. So I need to not talk too much so that I actually get this whole conversation done before she gets up, because I just don't think my brain will function properly with her with me, because she is hectic toddler life now. So a lot has changed since the last one 5 years ago when I was like, how old would I have been? I'm 29 now, so I was 24, living life with not very much responsibility. But yeah, anyway, let's go back to the start. 2013, I stepped into a gym and I was one of those people that hated sport, PE, any kind of movement. I was a party gal through and through. I literally was a shop girl and I lived life in that way. And now looking back, I think, although, you know, it was just an era in my life, which, just to say as well, every stage that I talk about, not one of them I regret. I mean, obviously now things have changed, but I do not regret and wish that I'd done things differently at any point, because I just feel like you have to go through all these different phases and eras as a human being. And I'm talking from 17 to 29 in this video, which is a long, impactful time in life as a woman where a lot can change. So I was a party girl. I literally thought going up and down my mum's stairs is my form of exercise, because I literally was not fit at all. I was a slug. I literally just like went out every night, and then me and my best friends would just sit in my room like all day and then do photo shoots on the webcam. That sounds really weird, but you know, like when you did photo shoots in your room with your best friend and it was just to make a Facebook album. That was literally what we did. So anyway, I started uni. I was 17. I went slightly early because I was doing a foundation year in music school, and I had a like very small interest in trying to get a little bit fit. So me and my housemate, we joined a tiny little hotel gym. Well, it wasn't a hotel gym, but it looked like a hotel gym. It wasn't like a proper gym. It was one of those leisure centre-y places, and we had no idea what we were doing. We went on the cross trainer, we went on the bike. It's really weird, the things that your brain remembers, because I really vividly remember seeing this guy whilst I was on the bike one day doing walking lunges, and at that point a walking lunge to my brain just didn't make sense, and I was like, what is he doing? He looks so funny. It doesn't even look funny. I don't know why. It's so weird now thinking back that I thought that looked funny, and it was so alien to me what he was doing, because I then fell into, you know, loving weightlifting and, you know, doing it for a living. So yeah, at that point anyway, I was like, whoa, what is he doing? I'm never going and doing that. Because I was just too embarrassed by it. And I mean, at this gym as well, it was literally like a tiny dumbbell area. It wasn't even a proper weight section. So anyway, Went a few times. I remember me and my housemate we didn't really take it seriously. We didn't really have any goal at this point. We just kind of went because we thought we should. I do remember vividly as well. This is another one of those weird, like, tiny memories that is still stuck in my brain. I remember we would get like a pack of caramel nibbles or a pack of minstrels, that, you know, the big share bags, and just eat the whole pack on the way home together from the gym. And that was just what we did. We had no idea about nutrition. All I ate at this point as well, because I was in my first year of uni, ready meals, specifically sausage pasta ones, which is funny because I now have this recipe I make for a sausage pasta, but like from scratch with, you know, all your veggies within there too, so it's nice and wholesome and full of goodness. But yeah, I mean, obviously these ready meals occasionally are fine, but they are just not the best. And I just had no idea at that point. I couldn't cook, and at home before I left to go to uni, I was eating like Smileys, and which, do you know what, that baffles me in itself, like waffles, Smileys and baked beans, fish fingers. Like, did everyone do that? Was that just a time? Because I feel like now, don't feel like everyone when they're a teenager eats those type of things, or do they? What did you eat when you were like 16, 17? Because that is all I made. No fitness background at all, and then we kind of just quit after about a month of every so often going to that leisure centre gym. Anyway, then that summer, so my first year of uni summer, I went on a girls' holiday to Malia because we'd all hit 18. I remember that was probably the first instance where I started to be a little bit more conscious of body image, and I remember not feeling like amazing within myself. I don't feel like my figure has ever been terrible. I mean, I don't like to talk about body shapes in that way anyway, but I've never felt like that towards myself. But I was just not healthy at all. And obviously with drinking a lot as well, your figure is just hard to explain. I just had like an alcohol eating ready meals and frozen food figure that was just like not terrible, but not strong or fit in any sense. You know, going upstairs made me completely out of breath, and I needed a minute at the top. So I started to feel it, and I think I just became a bit more conscious when I got to that stage of, you know, I was 18 and I was on a girls' holiday, and I started to look around and sort of think, okay, I don't feel very confident at all. I think I had like a lot of water weight, and I held a lot in my arms and in like photos, because we'd take lots of pictures and make big Facebook photo albums back then of us just like on boat parties and, you know, just being really silly. I remember looking at the pictures and thinking, I don't feel that confident about the way I look. And that was kind of the first time I felt like that. So I started uni year 2, moved into a new house with new people, and me and my housemate then, we both decided we wanted to get fit. We both kind of like, we want shredded abs. That was kind of the thing back then. It went a little, it always changes, this sort of trend. And back then it was being slim and shredded. And you don't have to follow these trends, don't get me wrong. I'm talking, it's weird talking about these times as well, because like I said, I have evolved so much as a human being, but so has the world. And so some of the things that were the reality then sound a bit weird to say out loud, but it was like common to want to be slim and shredded, and that's what I wanted, and so did my housemate. So we went to the gym, we joined the gym, we went and just literally did abs on the floor, had a chat for 30 minutes, did a few crunches and left. And the only good thing was at this point is our gym also was very close to where we lived, and I think that does make it a lot easier if your gym is near you, because one of the hardest parts about going to the gym is getting there and getting yourself to actually get up and go there. Because I think once you're there, it's fine. Before you have like a habit in your life where it's just like your makeup of the day, getting to that point, getting there is really hard. So we kept going, doing our little ab sesh and people watching. Also, at this point, Niall, my now husband, went to that gym and I really fancied him, and we'd had a bit of an on and off thing in our first year of uni, and he was just living the uni life, which fair play needed to happen. 10 years on, I'm now married to him and we have a child, so let them do what they need to do, get it out of their system, and they might be the ones still. But at this point, we'd started second year and I still fancied him. I knew he went to this gym, which was another reason I wanted to go there. And so that kept me motivated. Not that I want to kind of encourage that, but can be helpful. If your gym crush is there, it'll get you to that gym. Then actually started to get a little bit interested in the idea of weightlifting. I actually remember there was a girl at my gym that I thought looked so strong, and I thought to myself, I really want to look like that. And when I was people watching, every time I was on the floor doing my crunches, she would be there, and I was like, what's she doing? And I'd kind of check out what she was up to, and she went up to the weights and the machines area, and I was like, maybe I should go up there. There's a gal. And back then, weightlifting for women was so not common. That's the other thing. And we will get a little bit more into that and how I think that is why I became doing this as a career, because I think if I was there now, absolutely not. Nobody would care. I went up to the machines to start with, because obviously on machines they kind of say how to do things, but I was really, really embarrassed and shy. It did help that my friend was going with me, so that is another really good tip. Very obvious tip, but really good tip is going with a mate. It really does help if you're feeling intimidated. It's just the thought of doing something wrong. I'm doing a new form of training at the moment, and after 10 years of going to a gym, I went in the other day to a normal gym and did this new style which I'm not that familiar with, and I was embarrassed. I was like, am I doing this right? Are people looking at me like she has the wrong form? And it's a thing always, I think. But you just have to remember that people aren't there to watch you, and if they are, they just need to get more into their own workout, because they're clearly not that focused. Also, a lot of other people feel the same. So, gym anxiety, it's there at the beginning, but it does come and go throughout, and you just kind of have to power through it and just remember that people aren't there to judge you. They shouldn't be anyway, and if they are probably not the best people. So don't worry about them. So I started going with machines. The other good thing I found was, after a while of being at the same gym, I started to feel a lot more comfortable in the environment. I recognised people, and that was a bit of a comfort. People were friendly, and people usually are friendly in gym communities, and that's something else to remember when you're feeling anxious. People are usually really nice, and the PTs should be really nice. And there was one PT who was really nice, and I remember asking him for help and sort of showing me how to properly work the machines, because I'd also got to know him going in and out of the gym, and he was just a friendly face. And that, if you're a PT, be that person. Be that person at the door that smiles at you, doesn't make you feel intimidated. Be helpful, walk around, help people out, but not in a in-your-face way. Because honestly, that guy, Lance, he's called, still speak to him to this day, on and off, not very often because I'm not there anymore, but he's just got such a special place, because he is a big part as to me getting into weightlifting, I personally think. Anyway, I am really longing out this early stage, so sorry. I really want to get into the later bits. So anyway, also the other thing was Instagram was getting slightly more. It was 2014, was it 2014 or 2015? 2014/15 at this point. And your Women's Best and Gymshark was just emerging as quite a big brands. There was I would say 3 women that I knew of that were known who were weightlifting. There was a woman called Amanda Finney, and I remember seeing her and following her Instagram, and she shared something she was doing to sort of grow her glutes, and that's another reason. And Tammy Hembrow was about then too. Those, I would say, were the only ones I can remember at that point, but I found it really inspiring, and I was like, whoa, I could do this. Because I also, at this point, my figure genetically is very not curvy, essentially. I don't really have a small waist, big hips or anything like that, so I was really interested in the fact that she built, like Amanda Finney had built out curves, because she was a little bit like me where she was not naturally that curvy. So that, I think, helped me have a little bit of interest. I just kind of got into it from there. I kept going, I kept lifting, I kept trying to progress with my lifting and introducing different techniques. As I got more confident, I'd do like pyramid sets, I'd test my strength. I'd ask the PT in the gym, Lance, who was great, to help me with that as well, because he was always about. He also worked like on the gym floor too, so it wasn't while he was obviously PTing clients. But if you have PTs like that in your gym, just ask them for help. The ones that are kind of on the floor, they would enjoy it. Trust me, I was a PT then further down the line, and those gym floor hours can be so boring. So if someone wants your help and they want you to spot them, go and do it. And then I started dating Niall around this point as well, and so he really helped me with my food too, because at this point, when I was sort of getting into the nutrition side of things, because I realised too was very key, and I wasn't really into cooking still, I mainly just ate like lettuce and chicken, and so I was on quite like low carb. I still at this point thought we should eat low carb, and I'm absolutely not for that anymore, because you need carbs, you need a bit of everything. If anyone ever tells you to go on a diet where you cut something fully out, don't do it. It could affect your hormones, it won't be good for you. It's just gonna create a bad relationship. Eat a bit of everything, and chocolate counts, like eat it all. Cook your meals from scratch. That's what I learned over the years. And anyway, at this point, I was not eating much carbs. It was quite a thing back then to eat low carb. Niall kind of helped me with that a little bit, because he was a little bit better at cooking. He introduced me to chicken wraps, sweet potato fries, your curries, even though at this point we were eating quite a lot of processed foods in a way, because we'd have like a jar of curry sauce and then throw chicken and sweet potatoes with it. Whereas now, we always make things from scratch, and it's helped my gut so much. So if you're still eating like pasta sauce out of a jar, just try and make it from scratch. You don't need to like that much stuff. The only one I think is still good is pesto. But if you can, make those sauces, because it will help your, like the inner part of your body is so important. At this point, everyone was just eating high protein, and that was all we really cared about, but we didn't really care about the ingredients and like the whole foods and making things, you know, with your garlic and your onion and your chopped tomatoes, and you know, we were just using the jars, which sometimes absolutely fine, but just like not always, because there's things in there that aren't quite as good for your insides, and you might find that you get things like bloating and, you know, just a sore tummy. So anyway, Niall started introducing me to better sort of meals and things that were going to fuel me, because that was really important the more I was lifting. Really as well noticed through going to the gym all the time how much it helped me with uni stresses and anxieties, and just like social anxieties, because I had so much of that at uni. I went to a music school as well, and there's a lot of big characters when I went, and I wasn't one of them, so I found it quite like nerve-wracking every day getting up and going to uni and thinking about being called out in the class to sing or say something. And so just taking that hour for myself to like, and something that wasn't music related to help, even though I loved singing back then, like my escape from uni stress, anxieties, and just being able to be with myself for an hour and just work on myself. It really built my confidence. I notice now, looking back, how much of a quiet, shy person I was at the beginning versus now. That will obviously come with time and age and stuff too, but I definitely think I can't thank fitness enough for how much it's like built my character and my confidence, my discipline, and just the great thing about fitness, which I think can be so motivating to hear, is how every time you go to the gym, you essentially challenge yourself, right? That is so good for your character in every way. Like challenging yourself and doing hard things, it will transcend into your work life. It just shapes you to be a much more well-rounded human, I found anyway, and it's definitely true. So yeah, anyway, I realised all these things. I was loving lifting so much. I then learned to be a PT myself. I did a qualification in my last year at uni. I wanted to be a PT. I wanted to try and help other women discover this as well. And it was still like, it wasn't brand new back then to lift so much, but it was still not that common for women to lift, because women at this point, the majority just thought you'd get bulky. So I did my qualification. I then became a PT at the gym I'd gone to all those years with that lovely PT there too. And I loved it so much, but I really did struggle to fit in enough clients because I was also at uni. I had band practice too because I was at a music school. And I also needed to do 3-5 hours on the gym floor per week to pay my rent to be a PT there. So it was really hard to get in enough clients as well. And also most people want first thing in the morning or last thing in the evening, and there's only so many people you can fit in that. That's when I decided then to try and move it online, and I wanted to build an online client base and see if I could do it and have more clients online where I just would have access and the ability to coach more people. So I then also started posting my workouts on an Instagram account I made because I thought that would draw, you know, traction in to then be able to coach people, etc. And that's then where my Instagram was born. Definitely right place, right time. And that's where I keep mentioning the women weightlifting thing, but I was right place, right time. It was early days, video was new on Instagram, and my workout videos just went wild. And honestly, I can't thank the people enough who followed them and liked them back then, because that has led me through all these different things that I've got to do since then. I remember actually when I was still very early on, but my videos were sort of picking up, that I had a random phone call from, I don't actually know how they must have got my number, but maybe I sent it to them on Instagram DM or something. But a management wanted to manage me, and I was like, what the heck? I was in the gym actually. Another really vivid memory. But I was in the gym and I was like, what? And it was this guy who was wanting to start a management agency. And so he was like, do you want to do it with me? Essentially, kind of, do you want to be my first client and we'll do it together? And I was like, what do you mean? What do you need to manage? He had a lot of faith in me that I could start YouTube, and to be fair, if it wasn't for that person, I probably wouldn't have started YouTube, because I was still pretty shy at this point. And if you watch any of my first YouTube videos, you will see what I mean. Signed with him, started my YouTube channel, really enjoyed that side of things because I could share more and show, you know, a lot more of my fitness. It wasn't just the workouts. I could talk about my food, I could talk about how I did it, how I got to this point. And I kind of built quite a lot of muscle by this point. I think it must have been 2016. So I'd done about 2 years of solid training. I then started to work with Gymshark and Women's Best. And that's kind of where all of the Instagram side of things started. Teach plan, that was another huge thing that just was such an amazing thing to be able to do within the fitness industry, because I created my ebooks back then called the Peach Plans. If you had it, please can you tell me? That was 2017, I think. Your PDF ebook fitness plan. Do you remember that era? That was so great though, because we built such a community through that, and I just fell in love with working in the social media space from there. The one thing I will say now, looking back at these early stages of fitness, and like I said, I think you have to go through different phases with your fitness journey, because you kind of have to learn what doesn't work before you can figure out what works. So I definitely think I was way more obsessed than I realised. In those early days of being on YouTube and the fitness vlogs that I made, now looking back, I had absolutely no social life. It literally was my whole life, and I will go to my grave saying, please make sure your fitness is part of your life. Don't let it consume you, because life is for living. When you are on your deathbed, you will not remember the workout that you missed or how many sessions you did that week, that year. you will remember the memories. So don't say no to things. At this point, this is the thing though, at the same time, you kind of have to go through it to know that and to sort of know you don't want to do that. But I do feel like the more you hear it, the more you might realise it in yourself. But I definitely had no social life, said no to things all the time. I wouldn't go out with my friends because I was worried about missing the gym or eating something that was off plan. Yeah, I think it does take a long time to find that happy medium, and you do have to go through different phases and, you know, discover things about yourself. The thing to remember as well is fitness is always there. It's never gonna go anywhere, and missing that one workout is literally not gonna do anything. It takes so long to build muscle and to build progress. You are not gonna lose it overnight, so do not say no. Live your life, live the memories, because that is what life is for. Being fit is great, and I am all for it. I will also go to my grave telling people to move their body in whatever way they enjoy, however, because strength training may not be for you. And I have discovered now that I needed a shake-up, because after 10 years, I was getting so bored. And that's where I'm gonna lead on to now. But yeah, you just need to find the type of movement you love. Some people it's Pilates, it's running, it's high rocks. It might still be strength training, but enjoy it a little bit. And some days you won't, but in general, enjoy it. Otherwise you won't be able to stick to it. Anyway, let's move on to a bit more now, kind of actually. Firstly, lockdown happened, and now looking back there, as much as I love doing that, so I did live workouts every day. Was it every day? I think it was every day on Instagram at 10 a.m. And honestly, I know I say this all the time, I am a broken record, but honestly, that is one of my favourite times online. And although it was a really weird time and there was a lot about that time that was awful and just like missing people in life, etc., which you couldn't see, that part of it just was one of my favourite times online. I loved it, and it really structured my days, just having that, even though there was nowhere you could go, just knowing we were all going to be together at that point, moving our bodies and doing something for ourselves, and just having that community. And then that did transcend into my app Beyond. But now looking back at this time, right, I definitely think I didn't realise, because obviously we weren't going to the gym, we weren't lifting anymore really, I had like the odd weight. That is the phase where my strength training love did slightly fizzle a little bit, and I've kind of lost sense of what my own goals were, because I was focusing loads on just keeping going with those workouts each day, but not really having anywhere to go with goals, or I don't know. It was weird now looking back. I think that was the point in my fitness journey where strength training did come to a big halt, because it had to. Goals really do help with motivation, and they really do give you something to work towards and a reason to like keep going. And I always say to people when they say to me, I've lost all motivation, what shall I do? I'm like, just write 5 tiny little goals. They can be very specific, like I want to do 3 bodyweight pull-ups. I want to learn to do 200 kg on my hip thrust. They don't have to be huge goals like I want to run a marathon. They can be, and those kind of goals also are very, very helpful for something to work towards. But they also can be really small, because some of those big goals can be a little bit daunting and stressful to think about for some people. So yeah, that is always what I sort of go for and say to people when motivation is low. But yeah, obviously at this point there wasn't that much we could do. There wasn't that much to work with in lockdown. Anyway, then I created Beyond, because the community on those lives was amazing, which is my fitness app, which I now absolutely adore. And that's kind of like where the live workouts, now I'm teaching live workouts on there, and we have the most amazing community. It focuses on your physical and mental health, because again, over the years, I can't tell you how much fitness has helped me mentally through being a student with those uni stresses, through pregnancy, postpartum, etc. It's just, there's so much other than aesthetic goals that fitness does for you. So yeah, anyway, I then fell pregnant in 2022. And that was a whole new era. I was also kind of on the back end of still not really finding it took me so long after lockdown to find my flow again with fitness and like what I wanted to do for myself. And because I was doing a lot of fitness as well for my work, and I always have done, but I had my apps which required quite a lot of fitness ideas and me doing fitness on there. I think whenever you have something that is work but is a passion, it's amazing to be able to do that and to work on your passion, but it also can slightly kill it in some ways. And I found that with singing, firstly, when I went to uni, and having briefs to write songs to killed it for me. I just lost all creativity for it, and I equally, I think, found the same looking back now with fitness during these few years after lockdown. So anyway, I fell pregnant, and I feel fortunate that I still was doing fitness and still going through a routine of some sort. Definitely helped me with pregnancy. And I know not everyone can train when they're pregnant, and it's really important to mention that, because if you are high risk, or your midwife or doctor has told you you cannot do it, if you haven't also done fitness before, you're usually advised not to do too much. But if you have and you can, please, if you ever get pregnant in life, move your body. It will help you so much in so many ways. It'll help you, like when you're pregnant, you have so many foggy brain days and days where you just feel like shit. Where you feel really sad, you feel scared, you feel worried about what your future holds. You're going into the unknown, you're worried about birth. Going to do a little workout will help so much. Yeah, obviously it'll help you physically, it'll help you through aches, it will help, you're not gonna be doing your PBs at this point, of course. And honestly, I can't tell you how many times people online, I think they're getting better, but people still think pregnant women shouldn't be in the gym, and it could not be far from the truth. So never let anyone make you feel bad or weird or embarrassed if you have your bump in the gym, because good for you. Keep moving that body, because it's going to help you so much. But also, again, really want to just point out, I know some people really want to and they can't, so I completely feel for you, and I don't want me saying that to make you feel bad. You will get there again. It was crazy though online, like the things people say, like that you're going to kill your baby and stuff. Sorry, I know that is like not something anyone wants to hear, but it is awful that people say, it is awful, and you definitely shouldn't be that brash. But at the same time, I do see that, some people just aren't educated on it, which is fair enough. So that is another reason why then I also took on a pre-postnatal qualification, because I wanted to know what I was doing with myself and then be able to educate people with my platform, which was great. And I'm really happy I've done that, because I definitely felt more confident with myself in the gym. And then it was really amazing being able to help other pregnant women feel confident that they, with what they could do during that phase in their life. The biggest piece of advice I can give you if you are pregnant right now and you are training is just listen to your body. If something feels off, if it doesn't feel right, stop and go again another day. Take longer rests in between moves. Don't lift, obviously, to your personal bests. Listen to your body. That's the other great thing about being into fitness, is you are in tune with your body. You're literally always challenging your body, working with your body, and that's just such a great thing to have in life. So, Hadwin, my gorgeous little baby. I hope she's not awake. Let me check the baby monitor. Nope, she's still sound asleep, which is surprising. She's usually awake by this time. I feel like we probably got 10 minutes, which is plenty because I've talked for England. I'm sorry. I don't do these sit down videos anymore for that reason. Had baby wins. And the other thing is, I don't know if there is actually scientific evidence behind this, but I believe because I was so in tune with my body all these years, I really trusted myself. I did a hypnobirthing, no, I didn't do a hypnobirthing course. I read a hypnobirthing book, which was amazing and definitely also helped me with trusting my body. Whole life I thought I'd be petrified about birth, but through working out for all these years, I think it definitely helped me feel confident in knowing my body, trusting my body, being in tune with it, and knowing that my body can be challenged. Obviously this is a very different kind of challenge, but I believe it helped me through birth. and the strength in my body did. I don't think there's full evidence whether that is true or not. Yeah, postpartum was interesting, and I was still in this phase where I just didn't really have any goals. I couldn't have any goals when I was pregnant really anyway, other than to keep going. Glad that I didn't feel really stressed about getting my body back, because the whole bounce back mentality I think is very triggering and stressful for mums, and it's just not the phrase you want to hear. You can, you know, get back into feeling fit again, but bouncing back, you're not going to be you from before either. You're going to be a new version of yourself, and I think I was really at peace with that fact. And I just wasn't that focused on body image at this point. I was just like, I just want to feel fit again. I didn't really do much cardio other than walking whilst I was pregnant because my pelvic floor just said no. I tried to do a few runs and I weed myself many a time. So I missed feeling fit and I wanted that back. However, I was breastfeeding. I was so sleep deprived. My boobs were so heavy and there still wasn't much I could do. But I just was like, I'm just gonna walk. I'm gonna go on walks with Wyn. I've got dogs, they need to be walked. They love a walk. It was great too because Wyn was born in the summer. I went on lots of walks. I did my pelvic floor for about 2 months and then I stopped. Suffering now, still being myself sometimes, but you know, I think if I didn't have that habit just to keep moving, you know, I did slowly introduce really lightweight. I was actually really nervous to start lifting in any sense after I had Wyn because I just was like, wow, I need to get to know this new me. My body is new. I am new. I think the hypnobirthing honestly helped me so much with just accepting this new phase. There are moments still where I am frustrated because I'm still not as fit as I was before I had a baby. But give yourself grace if you have had a baby. You have literally grown life and you are now looking after that life. So your priorities, your time, everything is different. And I am only speaking on my experience here too, because for some mums, their situation is very different. You might have a traumatic birth, your situation with your baby and childcare and all of that jazz. The only thing I will say though is you can do a workout. It doesn't need to be long and you can do it with them around. The sooner you can move your body in any kind of way, the better. Because the thing I found when I did start to, you know, do the odd little workout here and there, pushing through the very tired, sleep deprived self. Although Wyn was often next to me, she was a tiny baby, so she was obviously like asleep most of the time. Just being with myself in those moments and doing something for myself, even if it was 20 minutes long, it allowed me to like begin the journey of working out and getting to know this new me. That was an interesting time, and I definitely, again, like the whole first year, 6 months particularly of her life, was such a blur. No, everything is just all over the shop. You don't know who you are really. You've got to try not to like think about the things that you did before, the way you trained before, and can't compare you to before too much because you're in this new reality essentially when you have your first child anyway. Yeah, I just knew that time, as short as it was building back Meggan. Because I didn't want to just be mum. I wanted to find me again and be Meggan again, as well as mum. Because I think you can do that. You should do that. You need to do that. To be the best kind of parent, you need to look after you as well. Even if it's only tiny little moments. Take them. Now, I really do realise how bored I was of strength training, which I sort of mentioned earlier on. Like, obviously, like I said, the whole time I was pregnant, the whole time, you know, for a year afterwards, and then those years before between lockdown, you know, I just feel like I was so bored. And now I'm just like so excited again because I've adjusted things a bit. I'm trying new challenges. I want to challenge my body in a new way. Strength training will always have my heart and it is always going to be the foundation of all the fitness that I do. But if you are feeling like you're at a standstill, you've been training for a long time, you just don't have any motivation anymore, you might need to change things up. And I've signed up for a High Rocks. I'm so excited. It's so fun to do a hybrid style of training where you are strength training and you're also doing these endurance style sessions that are High Rocks, so you know, your ski erg, your rower, your wall balls, your sleds. Like, it's so hard, but I like re-challenging my body again, because strength training after a while, yes, you can challenge yourself. Of course you can always lift more, you can always, you know, have new goals with your strength. But after 10 years, I was like, what's going on? Why have I lost the spark? I feel like I blamed it within myself on having a baby, but definitely been more than that. And anyway, I've signed up to a High Rocks. I've also now signed up to a half marathon. Not that you need to do that, because you definitely don't, but you might just want to try a Pilates class. Try a High Rocks class. They do them at most gyms now, and just see if like that new challenge sparks something for you. Because honestly, I am waking up excited for my workout. I haven't had that since before lockdown. And do you know what I was thinking when I was like writing out my notes for this video? I realized that like I am also now a new version of myself. After having a child, now I'm a mum, my body's different. You know, it functions differently now. It wees itself quite often. And just, yeah, my time's different. My priorities are different. I need to do things quicker. I don't have like an hour and a half to go and do and lift weights. However, a 20 minutes High Rocks session, which is going to make me feel so good afterwards, I will fit in. And, you know, or go in for a nice 30-minute run in the sun. Like, I used to hate that. And to be fair, I don't think it has my heart running like some people, but I'm training with a lot of running because of High Rocks, but it's just nice. It's just feels so nice. So yeah, anyway, that's my story, guys. I'm on a new me. I'm on a new challenge. I'm getting to know the new me still. It's always a learning process, but you've always got to keep challenging yourself, and you've got to evolve. Like, you can't always be doing the same thing. It gets boring, and sometimes you just need to change up. The other thing is with my diet now as well, I appreciate so much more like eating things that are going to make me feel good from the inside. I'm not just eating protein powder and protein shakes. I'll have that sometimes, of course, to like include more protein into my diet, but I care so much more about including, you know, all my colour. I want my plate to be colourful. I want it to help my gut feel good, and I'm interested in looking into those things, and yeah, just fueling my body and making my body feel nice inside, and not just filling it with protein and preservatives. But I think that is everything. If you've been thinking about starting fitness, do it. Do it for yourself. Do it for your future self. Do it for you when you are older and more decrepit. The stronger you make your body, the better. Just move. Whatever way you enjoy, do it. Don't copy what someone else does or think you need to follow a trend. Just do what makes your heart sing. And again, you don't need to be doing it for hours and hours. You need to do it for just a little bit. And that little burst will just help you so much with so many areas of your life. Pushing yourself out your comfort zone all the time is so good for you, and it will just elevate your life, honestly. That's the end of my TED talk. I'm gonna start talking now. But also, if you are, you know, at a standstill in your fitness journey like I was, try something new. Set yourself a new challenge and see if it reignites. Thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed my very long talk, and if you have any questions about anything to do with your fitness as well, please leave them down below. And the other thing I just want to say as well, don't be scared to be a beginner. Whether you're a beginner starting from scratch of just fitness in general, or just a beginner into a new type of fitness like I am, don't be afraid to be a beginner. We all start somewhere. Anyway, thank you for listening, and I will hopefully see you very soon in my next video.